Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Ohmen Duel between 3rd Armoured, an S tier division played by tmanplays, and he's going up against Midget playing as 39Y. So we'll go through the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments of the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Alright, so these are the deck reviews. This is Midget, he's playing 39Y, and I actually have a 1.5 hour guide on 39Y here. And you can see that I believe he has drawn some inspiration from that, right? A lot of it is quite similar. There are a couple key differences which we'll point out. So first things first. Oh yeah, the Logi tab's the same, right? Except he's got double Ural instead of the MTLB and the Ural. The advantage of the MTLB is that it's cheaper. So sometimes you can't afford 40 points for a supply, and you can afford 25 points for a supply, so that's why I bring it. Something like a Cub. The Cub's supply cost is 300, and this carries 600. So if you switch off the fuel and the spare parts, you have to do that, otherwise it'll give it a little bit of fuel and it won't work. Then it can do 2 full reloads on the Cub, otherwise it'll only do 1.5 or something if it ends up giving it fuel, so you gotta make sure you switch off the fuel. The next change is infantry tab basically all looks the same. The BMP-1 PGs got buffed apparently. What? Oh no, I see that's a poor Machiki squad there, which I don't bring. And yeah, that's at no vet. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like them. Machiki. They're just not that great. Like the machine guns can only fire when they're stationary and stuff. And if you need stationary fire support, you have the BMP-1 PG and you have the 30 mil. So why not just get? Because if you had this at 1 vet, you only get 5, and at no vet, it's just useless. So either bring it at 1 vet or just get another card of these Motorstrelky BMP, in my opinion. Arty tab's the same, you know, mortars for smoke. He brings one more tank than me because I stack the air tab. Alright, I think that's fine. Recon tab's the same. And then the AA tab he brings one more. I think that's probably because like this is a... Oh yeah, because I just bring way more, you know, stuff. In terms of the Rocket 3 versus the Rocket 2, yeah, maybe this is better because the bigger rockets do a lot more damage. I don't know, I've not tried it. I know this obviously fires a lot faster, but the bigger rockets do more. In terms of this one versus this one, I prefer the bigger rockets, but he wants 8 Kokons, which can be useful. And then this thing, it's got 20% ECM, so it can be useful. I just find it dies in one pass anyway, because I'm not a lucky individual at all. So I just go for the cheaper one. Because I prefer, because the bigger rockets have the bigger range, right? And then, yeah, on the tank, so it's a 3-pointer, because basically I bring more planes. I'm not sure about this thing at all. The point is that this is just grossly underpriced for what it is, because it flies so high, right? This thing's only 1 per card, so I just wouldn't bother because it's just going to blow up. And if you... So I don't think this will one-shot any heavy tank in the game. Maybe it does. This one definitely does. But this one's a bit more survivable because of the ECM. But this is cheaper. So I prefer this one to that one. And I would prefer this to that. And also, you know, if you get the Recon Helo and the cheap... Oh yeah, he's only got 1 card of fighters. So I bring 2 cards of fighters, right? And then I can open with this, and the SU-25 rocket. I just kill everything. It's just very, very funny. But yeah, certainly this I'd probably get rid of. And honestly, I think you need the 2nd card of fighters. I appreciate that he's got 1 more AA, but like, why? Do you know what I mean? Now you've got more fighters, you probably don't need 3 cards of long range, mid to long range AA. You can keep the Osa if you want, or you can keep the Bruiser. Either way, this should be at 1 vet. So yeah, just keep 1, get rid of 1. The Osa's obviously got more range against the Helos, but if the Helo flies over you, this just shreds it, so... or you could get the Strela 10M, which is also decent against Helos, and it's, you know, cheaper than the Osa. And then you can get, like, so this is... I really do think you need this. just because it's just so broken that it's pointless not to bring it at its current price. If the price goes up, you can think about it. This one's obviously, pretty crazy as well, but... And then this, I don't know, I prefer this one. Or you can get the SU-25 rocket, so you could do the funny strat, right? The funny strat. Or it can even be the SU-25 AT if you want, right, for the opener. But this is 3 per card, so whichever one you want. I'm pretty sure I bring the AT, actually. No, I bring the rocket. I also bring the EW plane, which you don't have to do. So, his opponent's playing 3rd Armoured, an S-tier division. He's doing it wrong, though. So, yeah, his only CVs are 120 points or 315 points. And I don't think that's a good idea. This is a 3-point slot, right? So why not get 2 40-point CVs, which you can buy at the start, and then you're not so far better. Do you really want to be spending 120 points on your first CV? And it's 3 guys. So I'd be bringing that. 3 cards of supply I don't know about. I mean, maybe that makes sense on this div because you're spending the whole game grinding with tanks. Maybe that makes sense. No. I'm not sure why he's done that. This thing reloads in a minute. This thing just sucks absolute balls. Now you could say, what isn't it like the SU-24? It flies high and it's got it's just just don't bother, man. It just doesn't work. This thing reloads in a minute. That's the point. That's why you bring it. And it won't one-shot a heavy tank. But there's a reason both Skate and Bend Over, the 3rd Armoured Sweats, bring that. But yeah, you really want the Phantoms as well, because the whole point is you need air superiority or you're going to lose. Chappie's better than Pivads for this. Did somebody send him this deck or something? Like, this is incredibly useful, more so than this. Yeah, it's a 2-pointer, okay. And then swinging back to the infantry tab, you absolutely need the Engineer's Flash. In fact, I believe both Skate and Bend Over bring 2 cards of Engineers, but you definitely need the Engineer's Flash, otherwise you're just going to lose every forest fight. So, get rid of that and bring the Engineer's Flash. This at no vet I don't really agree with, frankly. I mean, do you need 9 of them? 3 cards of Bradley's. Pretty sure the pro... Well, I mean, this guy's obviously very good at the game, but he doesn't have 5 million games 3rd Armoured like those other 2 do. I'm pretty sure they don't bring these. I'm pretty sure they bring 1 card less, so that they can get something like the 30 cal or the 2nd card of Engineers, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And yeah, the CEVs is an important part of the strategy. Yeah, HAs, M1A1s, obviously. It's a lot of M1A1s. If you just get your calculator up and start calculating, right, 275 times by 6 is 1,650. 315 times by 4, right, plus 1,650, yeah, divided by 260. So you're going to buy nothing but M1A1s for 11 minutes. Which is 1/4 of the game, just on the M1A1s, not included in the HAs. I don't think so, right? So you could swap that out for... What exactly? That's the other problem. I suppose you could upvet the arty, but they don't do that. Yeah, okay, I can sort of understand why it is the way it is. And then... Yeah, like, why... So this is 1 per card and this is 1 per card, so... why not swap one of these out for that? The other thing you can get is... yeah, I guess they probably run... Oh, that's a 2-pointer, but they're so expensive. It's a hard div to build. But yeah, they probably run 1 fewer supply, but if it's going to be a 40-minute game, you need the supply, so... I I don't know, at the very least you could upvet a couple of these, because, you know, are you going to buy nothing but M1A1s for 11 minutes? No, you are not, so... the other thing would be to bring the pivads as well, right? Yeah, that's probably a better idea, actually. Because what happens if you get heli rushed by that guy called Hippie Idiot? There's a guy on the ladder called Hippie Idiot that just goes around heli rushing everybody. And the pivads would kill him. We need the Phantom. We need the Phantom. If you lose air superiority, your tanks explode. But you can't get rid of so many tanks to get that air superiority. Well, it's a tough gig, you know. I can only assume that they just don't bring 3 cards of supply. I don't see how else you'd do it. Well, whatever. It's not my problem, really, is it? Just throw that pivads back in. Right, so with that out of the way, as I spoke about in the deck reviews, right, this guy is bringing 1/6 of his initial income is just CVs, because he's gone for the 120 pointers instead of the 40 pointers. So I think that is a big mistake. Oh, but we're not at the deployment yet. We got to talk about the matchup. Basically, you'd expect 39Y to win in the early game and 3rd Armoured to win in the late game. And it just depends what happens, you know, with, like, can Midget expose the, you know, like, pressure enough in the early game, right? Ultimately, the deck T-Man has is kind of weird. He doesn't bring the flash, and this is a map with quite a lot of forests, so we'll see how that goes. And the I got an email. It might be about my thesis corrections. No, it's about women in science. Well, thanks for sending me that. Delete. Honestly, if you're a woman, go do science at university. They'll absolutely love you. Every university I've been at has had 2 engineering societies, one for everybody, and one just for women. And that's technically illegal, but they don't care. And there was always loads of scholarships that only women could apply for and stuff like that. And it's like, well, come on, is this not discrimination? Like, no, because men have it too good. So, okay. I guess I have it too good. Just have it too good, right? Anyway, anyway. So, looking at the deployments, we got 240 points worth of CV, right? Which I don't really think is a good idea. It's a big hurty on the opening. But yeah, the 3rd Armoured opener's fairly standard. You buy all the M150s, you buy the scouts and the scout vehicles, and you just try not to die, right? So you got to cover all your flanks. Now, admittedly, 39, and like, look how defensive he's being here. He's basically given up this whole forest. Which he couldn't fight in anyway, because he's not brought the flash. Yeah, the way 3rd Armoured is played, as I spoke about in the tier list, is you just play really, really slow, and just take trades for ages, and then just sweep the map towards the end of the game. And it's basically the only way you can play it. But if you can play it like that, it's very, very, very hard to beat, because none of its stuff really dies in one hit. You know, because these have 5 armor, right? So tanks aren't really going to kill them. Admittedly, they're not that useful on this map, because there's no, you know, there's very few places where you can put them. Anyway, so yeah, the picket line, and then we got a big Bradley on Dimitri, and he's not brought the Chaparral for whatever reason. He brought the pivads. I don't know, maybe it's a challenge deck somebody sent him, right? Because he does these live streams, right, and they do challenge decks. Or he just maybe doesn't play too much 3rd Armoured. And then, you know, a couple guys on the right, AT4 and pivads, right? And then Stinger, Engineers Dragon at Novet, CV, pivads. Switching to his opponent, we got Midget, who didn't spend all his points at the start. And he has gone for the 40-point CV. So So the point is you buy 2 of those at the start, and then you get all the zones for nice and cheap, right? Fedor, Gregory for one of them, Ivan, Chariton, Boris for the other. You're planning on attacking Dmitry at the start, you go Fedor, Gregory, Chariton, and this one goes Ivan, Dmitry, and then this one goes into Boris. But he's not done that. So that's not great. And then, yeah, he's playing quite defensive as well. So I think he misunderstands the matchup, right? The point is he has to rush at the start. Although I'm getting the impression that he's not, like, giving everything... Oh, no, because these are recon deployed, right? And then this Conquers thing, well, you want to use that aggressively, surely. Who knows? I guess you could send the BTR-60PB out aggressively. And then we got a bunch of Razvedka Saperi. A bit too many, really. And then 2 Mot Razvedka. Too much recon there, really. I mean, you need, like, 2 recon. Because that just makes this weaker. So he's got a cupboard. Like, he's basically just got nothing backing it up, basically. Do you know what I mean? So he would have to open, like, T80BV, I think. As 39Y, I've seen that work on this map. T80BV in the opener with a cub behind it. Because you're probably going to fight here, right? So it's immediately useful. Obviously, you would prefer to have medium tanks, but you don't get them on this div, so... That's why 79Y is better, because you just open with all the TO55s. So Igla conquers BMP2 Cub Osa, and then Mot Razvedka, without an unload order, conquers Igla, and then to BMP1 Mot Razvedka without unload orders. So yeah, I mean, he's given up too much ground, really. He's against a slower div. So, yeah, let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. At the highest tier, you get your games cast, a rate of 1 a month. The tier 4 channel memberships, so if you want to, you know, if you dab on some guy that you don't like, great way to support the channel. Or, you know, if you want to lose, if you want to learn, you learn more if you lose, which is why I got that confused in my head. Sorry, I'm not very intelligent, but I'm the best you've got. Or you could watch tmanplays, I suppose. So, yeah, you'd expect 39Y to just kind of sweep Boris at the start, but the way he's built it isn't really conducive to that. He's not got too much pushing power, really. So yeah, grenade launch is finally coming out, and then there's the Abrams. But I don't understand why he's gone for the Pivads over the Chaparral. I mean, it can be nice to bring both in case that guy heli rushes you. That smiley face hippie is a loser guy. But the Chappie can actually maybe save your tanks. It's better at shooting down planes. Having said that, the way Red's built his Air Force is very strange. He's got the cluster, the high altitude cluster, so that's good. But yeah, you can see that if he'd actually gone for this, he'd be in here. And he didn't do, I mean, you know, so he's just given up all this ground, which is very sad. And these American scouts, are regular American scouts, they don't have AT, so you can just drive up to them, kill them. And he doesn't get LRS or anything like that, so... Yeah, it's a big big loss here, and he's not capping any of his zones because he only opened, and he didn't do it properly, 1 CV. Whereas his opponent has bought 240 points worth of CV and is ahead of him. He could have done the same thing for 80, and he's not queued it up, so it's just going to sit there now. So it's very sad. So this could probably get out of the way. I mean, he did try. It should have gone this way, I think. Because, you know... the trees. So as you can see, despite that, Red has actually made some progress here, right? And he could put a Conkers in here if he brings them. I think he does, and a Conkers in here, and then like take up to here, and then get the T80BVs out. He's not bought a second CV yet, so he's just going to be behind for the whole game against 3rd Armoured, which you should be ticking up against. He's not unloaded these, right? So Blues managed to just walk in here, and now he's reinforcing it. You know, when you're against 3rd Armoured, the clock's ticking, basically. You need to get as many points on the board as possible, and then just don't feed. That second part I'm still working on. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of this where third armored isn't OP, third armored isn't OP. I have never seen Bend Over lose a ranked game with third armored. Right? None of the people who were say the only time I've seen him lose as third armored was in a tournament game where he got counterpicked with 80-second airborne, which yeah, okay, that's probably gonna win, right? Depending on what side of the map you get. I didn't actually see the game. He might have been on the good side. So yeah, if I've beaten every player in this game, bar a couple. There's a couple I've not really played against enough, right? But if I play against the guy 3 games in a row, and he beats me 3 times in a row, like that's like never happened. Well, okay, it probably has happened at some point. It's not happened in recent memory. So yeah, I think it is S tier, and then you get all the. There's a lot of people who just say I'm wrong because they don't like me, and it doesn't really matter what I say. But there are people who have legitimate grievances, and you just got to try and educate them as best you can. And yeah, I mean this should just reverse, right? And yeah, the M1A1's out now, and he's got absolutely nothing that can kill that. And has he moved his CV? Yeah, he has, but he's not capped Fedor and the other one. And he's just missed out Fedor there, so it's a very, very one-sided game. I mean, Red is we'll see how many games they've played at the end, but I'm going to wager it's a bit less than T-Man, who has over 3,000 hours in Warno. So yeah, you get the Conkers in here. I prefer this side of the map because of this building. Just gives you a really nice angle there, and the way the airborne forward deployment works is if you've got it, you get to like here. Yeah, and your enemy doesn't, right? If you've got it and your enemy doesn't, you get to here. Whereas the blue ones, they would get to here, and you still can't see anything. So I prefer this side. I mean, the other side gets a church, which gives it more vision. And some of these buildings are really nice to hide behind, because they've got the flat. This flat one is really nice to hide behind. So you don't really have that. But no, I mean, this just basically locks down a bit of the zone. Now, having said that, this zone is a bit easier to attack, because if you get to, like, here, then you just cut all the reinforcements, right? And you can just cut all the reinforcements. But on this side, if you get to here, there's this in the way. and you can't really do that, because the way the roads work. So basically, I think red has an easier time in middle, but blue has an easier time on the sides. So yeah, basically, you should have opened with both the MTLBs and gone, one of them, Ivan, Chariton, and then mid, and the other one Fedor, Gregory, and then you send one after that to go guard the cub, or whatever, or you put it with your arty. So yeah, I mean the fact that third armored, the later game division, is still on a +2, and it's just entirely because he didn't cap his zones, is a big mistake, because you should be ahead. You should be 500 points ahead here. The way it's supposed to be is that 39Y is supposed to take this whole zone at the start, which he could have done before that A-room showed up, right? Because of what was here, he could have just walked in with the stuff he had, and then you keep him out for as long as possible, right, to get the tick. Eventually he will contest it. But yeah, you don't, I mean, because it's gone past, right, so it's not ideal. BMP2s aren't what they used to be. They're still pretty good. You get people who complain about everything, right? So it's hard to know what to put time into, trying to propagandize people about, or educate them, depending on, because I basically speak to everybody. Do you know what I mean? Anybody can leave a comment, right? And the community's not very big, and everybody's heard of me. So I get every single opinion funneled into my ear, which is wonderful, isn't it? And so it's difficult to know, because like some people are just sort of thick in the head, like fundamentally retarded. I had a guy who he's played 35 ranked games as Pact in the last year and a bit, right? Like I could look it up on the stats, right? And he's played like several hundred NATO ones, right? And he's like, oh, Pact is, Pact bad because this unit, and it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. you don't have the experience, right? Now, the BMP2 attack is doing pretty decently, but like, why is he really shouldn't just be driving into, because you want to use the ATGM range, right? And the Osa is here for the Apache, but he's going to struggle to, like, so you got to basically do that. Okay, there's a gap there, and then you drive it to there, and then you shoot it. So he's had to smoke there, because the closer you get to the M1A1s, the harder it's going to be to, you know, this is just going to kill you, basically. You want to use your ATGM range advantage. You see they're just dying, so like, they should be back here, just out of the range, but generally, like, he should have a couple T-80 BVs by now, because that's the only way you can fight this, really. And he is buying them. They are coming. Over here, there's been a, you know, mismanagement of resources, basically. Okay. Now, incidentally, that wouldn't have one-shot him anyway, because of the, this is 16. He's got 3 armor, so it wouldn't have actually one-shot him even if it did hit. He has lost a HP somehow, though, so at this point it would now one-shot him. I think it's the 50 cows from, you know. So yeah, the ticker stopped at least, but the game state right now seriously favours the 3rd armoured player, because he's ahead, and he shouldn't be. He's got the better late game. But yeah, the way he's built his deck as well is a bit weird. No flash is really kind of strange. So we got red attacking on the sides because he's realised, well, I can't kill the M1A1s. 3rd armoured's quite a... once again, that wouldn't have... This has 4 armour, right? So he needs to kill that with the BMP2. Okay, he just drove into him for whatever reason, and now he's realised, oh yeah, I'm minimum range. He's trying to use the Conkers, but the Fire Team 84 is going to kill all this, right? Presumably. So yeah, he's recognised that 3rd Armoured wants to play as narrow as possible, because that's the point of the div, right? You get your M1A1s, you protect them with your Trapper Owls, which he hasn't brought, but, you know, Stingers in this case. You should always have an Eagle up as well. I'm very familiar with 3rd Armoured because I keep losing against it. So the Igla should ward off the Apache, and yeah, that all died, right, to the fire teammates. Well, one of them must have survived somehow. He's only fired 2 rounds, but all 3 vehicles are gone. So what happened there? Maybe this killed one. BMP2 got killed by the Apache. Ah, this is probably dead, because if he just runs at him with both of these and it missed, which is not ideal, but this does have 20% ECM, right? And now this guy, so because he started a fire under him, right? He missed twice, okay, well that's less, I mean, he's just so dead, man. If it had hit twice, that'd be obviously an extremely different situation, right? But that's the game we played. Oh, 3rd time lucky. Oh. But yeah, if he was doing a push here, really, it should have been like a... Because he's got the Osas and the Briusas. If this was a Briusa, they'd both be dead. So on the 4th hit, on the 4th time he hits... I'm not sure what T-Man's doing, really. He's not... He's just relying on his incredible luck. I mean, what... He's fired 5 rounds at that, and he just wasn't paying attention. I mean, he has now landed it, right? So he doesn't get his 6th shot in. But, well, what can I say? Sometimes it be like that. So, yeah, I mean... Like, Red's got to get some points on the board or he's going to lose. But how does he do that? He's missed his window, basically. And that's another problem with playing against 3rd Armoured. It's like, it's got a sense of kind of inevitability about it. Obviously, there's a lot of players who pick it up who just can't play it, right? And then they lose. But if you're sort of remotely competent, because you have less units than your opponents, so it's easier to keep them alive because you got less to kind of look at. Admittedly, if you do lose them, it matters more, right? Because you have fewer units. So what's the plan here? He's going to smoke there and then... Okay, that's cool. But so he needs the armor behind. I mean, admittedly, he's kind of attacking in the wrong place. You want to... You know, when you're playing on this map, and blue should be doing the same, you want to take this forest, right? And then you can just see everything here. and shoot them in the side and so on, and then you come up through here. Oh, he's attacking everywhere. Okay. Yeah, this is a cool attack. I mean, he's got the smoke to keep the Abrams obscured, right? This needs to smoke now, or it's gonna die. Okay. The Cub is on an attack move, so it missed. And yeah, I mean, it's going well. Basically, these shouldn't be on attack moves. They should be on just moves, because you need them to get into where they're trying to get to. But yeah, I'm liking it. I mean, he's getting... I suppose they've got the motion accuracy right. The Pivaz is putting in a lot of work today. Oh, you don't get side shot. But, like, just right-click that. I mean... hopefully the OSA is deployed against the... Oh, wow, that was cool. So you got the M1A1, and then you smoked that, so that's not going to die. Good stuff. Bomber coming in for, you know, the backline stuff. I mean, that probably wasn't a good idea because of the Eagles, but I don't know if you could see them. Right, so when this goes for you, you need to go forwards and then, you know, turn, basically. Or just do anything. Do anything. Or just stand still and die, you know, that's also valid strat. Same story here, right? This can survive if he just goes backwards. It's going to survive anyway, apparently. Because it didn't hit it dead on, right? It was like kind of a glancing shot. Now somebody's going to say, oh, the F11F E cluster is clearly better because... I can't let it get to me, right? But that was a really good attack. It was. I mean, admittedly, it would be great if he brought this Osa up and just killed that. But he did it. He took the zone. He's on a +1. He's got to watch out here because he doesn't really have anybody here. But yeah, he did it. And to be honest, he could probably just keep going. As long as he can kill this, there's not really much behind this. Obviously, you know, we can see it and he can't. And what he could do is buy a 50-point recon healer and just YOLO it over, right? He's probably going to die, but for 50 points you get to see, oh, there's nobody there. And yeah, so the smoke, he could keep smoking here so that he could get these guys in, otherwise this is going to kill them in the open. And yeah, so the OSA is now being deployed to kill the Apaches and so on. This Igler is following in his brother's footsteps by not hitting anything ever. The Cub needs that supply next to it and it needs to move. Come on, get that OSA in there. You guys, they're dying. You could keep up the smoke here, right? What is that? The supply, okay. What? What was that even? Oh, I see. He did it. So now he needs to not overextend and feed. Because at this point he has been stopped, right? Because the smoke has stopped here and he didn't get any of the Apaches or anything because he didn't really control the AA so well. So he needs to, you know, secure his flanks because, like, look, he's getting pushed here. And hold on for the next 20 minutes. But I'm quite surprised that worked because usually he'd be dead by now. But yeah, the micro is... he's struggling on the micro. And that just comes down to practice, you know? If your enemy has 3,000 hours and you don't, well... And this applies to my enemies as well, right? I'm not having a go at T-Man. Or at least I'm having a go at everybody equally. That Hent is 2,000 supply, so losing that is actually a really big problem. But no, I'm honestly, I'm really surprised that worked. Because whenever I try that against 3rd Armoured, all my stuff just explodes. Admittedly, I don't really play heavy tank divisions. Like, the T-80BV's got a chance. The M1A1 should win. In gun range, it should win. But in ATGM range, the T-80BV should win, but the thing is, he just had loads of BMPs backing up his T-80BVs. Admittedly, I think he only killed 1 tank. It might have been 2, but I think he only killed 1 tank. The rest was all like the Zero Vet Engineer's Dragon and all that crap. Igler's doing a great job hitting absolutely nothing once again. They usually do a lot better than that. He's just getting really quite fortunate. This is making me want to play Warno. So, what do you do now? Well, I mean, if he had kept up the smoke, right, because he's got the next wave coming in, if he just keeps smoking here, he could take this, because the M1A1's at close range will die to the motor Strelky. Or he could just hold And now he's in the situation which, frankly, he should have been in 20 minutes ago. But the fact that Blue lost so much there means that, you know, it's going to take him a while to build up. He might not be able to do it in time. Now, admittedly, just losing all your stuff to Artie constantly, not having your flank secured, not selling any of your... I mean, has he just got auto cell turned off? He does. He's got auto cell turned off by default. So he's not... Right. But, like, this should be in that building. You should get, you know, move up the Conkers to here. Get another Cub, maybe. Oh, actually, you got two. You know, you need to reverse your Osa so it doesn't get blown up. Get the T-80 BVs firing. He's doing that now. Because, yeah, they were shooting the Engineer's Dragon. They're still doing it, actually. And then what you do is you can put all these guys behind these buildings. And then these can't just kill you. From T-Man's perspective, he should have more CEVs, because that's how you kill the infantry. Obviously, the tank will kill the infantry, but the tank costs as much as 3.5 CEVs. So. Yeah, I mean, Red, he's kind of losing too many guys here. He's missing phase 2 of the 2-part plan, right? Phase 1. Get all the stuff at the start, right? That was obviously, at the start, we could have a conversation about, but he got all the stuff, right? He's got the zone. Phase 2, don't feed. Like I said, I'm still working on that as well, so. But yeah, given that the third Armoured player did not bring the flash for whatever reason, the red player should easily be winning in the forests. And I do believe the RPO beats the flash anyway. Just because of the squad size. The flash has higher total damage output because it fires 4 rounds at once. But yeah, like, this shouldn't be happening. This should all be yours up to here. That should all be yours. He bought this at the start of the game, and it has sat there for 20 minutes, and he's not unloaded it. Yeah, it's very sad. Because, like, he's just losing all his guys. I mean, he's just overextending, and he's not really, you know, like, why wasn't that in the forest? Why isn't this guy here launching his 2 Guerrillian range ATGM? He's bought the recon healer though, so that's good. This guy's not dead either because he just teleported behind you. Nothing personnel, kids. That's the Kokon. It makes that sound now. And all of these guys, what you do is you turn off the auto. He's got it turned off by default apparently. You just hide behind the buildings. Gotta, you know, land this when you see the. I mean, that's just classic. T-Man, that is. Survive all the AA and hit the bloody helicopter. At least it didn't die. So, okay, you've at the right way, so that's good. This isn't moving for whatever reason. Okay, so that died. You know, you could get that behind the building. Don't do that, it's got no HP. It can die in 1 hit to a stinger. There's another eagle coming. You gotta land. You gotta land. And is this gonna survive as well? No, because this is too. So that's your 210 point helo dead to eagles, which are 2 per card. They do cost more, but they're 2 per card, whereas the healer's 1 per card. So yeah, I like the smoke because blue's pushing through the smoke, which means like the tanks can't shoot, but the infantry's exposed, so they get shot. That's a good use of smoke, that is. What happened to that Oster? Okay, so it's over here. Is he going to try and use it against the Apache? Right, now imagine a world in which our hero here opened with both of those 40-point CVs. He would be at 1,000 points now. Or at least his opponent would not be at 600 points, right? He would probably still be on the same points, but his opponent would be on 0 points, I think. You know, he might have a little bit more. So yeah, he's got the auto cover off, right? You don't have to run all the way away, you just sit behind the building. And then when the tank drives past you, you blow it up. You don't just get cut, because like, now he's going to get shot. And yeah, this Conqueror's putting in the work. It is such a nice spot. Admittedly, I said he should have brought it up when he was, you know, further forward. I think that's going to die, right? Yeah, because the engine got damaged, so it was... Do you see how slow it was? If it didn't have that problem, it wouldn't have died. But, you know, these could be here, healing that up. You know, stuff like that. Losing that helo was a big problem, actually. Although there are, you know, more stingers here now. And yeah, it just comes down to the experience, I think. I mean, we'll see how many games Midget has at the end of this, but it's like, you know, all of the things being equal, you know, sometimes you have a bad day, whatever. If you'd played 3,000 games of Warno, you'd move your cubs after they shot, that sort of thing, right? You wouldn't blob as much, so that you wouldn't lose two things to that, because he was probably just going for the Conquers, actually, and he just got the cub because it was there. So yeah, it's a shame really, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, you got to give credit to Tman on how fast he was able to kind of reconstitute his forces. Admittedly, I think he only lost one tank, which obviously they're the important things. What is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? I mean, why didn't... if this was just... like, what is he doing as well, right? Because that could have just blown this up ages ago, but he had it on a move order instead of a... instead of an attack move order. Well, I mean, that's life, innit? Sometimes you fast move your T80 BV towards the enemy and die. Yeah, so now what? Now he's basically back where he started, right? And this is just gonna sit around back here. He's not really gonna... Well, I suppose he's got those cluster things, right? You don't want to buy, you know, 7 infantry at once, really. You want to sort of mix it up. There should be a replacement Conquers in here. These guys, if they keep going down this road, are all going to die. Probably need another TABV if you've got any of those left. That's the game. Saying that should come down here, and I think in the last patch they broke something with the path in, man, because it didn't used to be that stupid. These all look okay, though. These look not so bad. I mean, yeah, but so, like, imagine if this was behind this building, and then, you know, you could get them as they come past and stuff like that. No, don't go for... Oh, my God. They've got 3 machine guns on them, so you can't just run into them and hit them in the front. Also, you're not going to do anything, because he's got 18 front armor. So what he should have done there is hide behind this. He's noticed now, but it's too late. Hide behind this, and then just wait for them to come past you, and then you kill them. There's that cluster thing. It's really not very good, but he kind of drove into it. What is he doing? Oh man, he lost one in the transport there. Didn't have to happen. So that was fairly decent bombing run with the double RPGs and so on. Just needs... Okay, I think he just got a little bit unlucky there. Because at one more hit it would have exploded, but... What can I say? Yeah, the Eagle was up to kill the Su-24, and a lot of the Cubs are sort of out of ammo / dead. It's getting a bit scrappy now. This'll survive that. This'll survive that. Maybe I should play 100 games 3rd Armoured. Oh, that's a shame. I suppose it didn't have much HP. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for red. I mean, because blue isn't really going to run out of stuff. That's kind of the point. He's not going to run out of tanks. He's not going to run out of Bradleys. The Apaches he would run out if any of them died, but they're immune to Iglas, as we've noticed. That got side shot, so it just exploded. And red's just losing way more units than blue, and you can see that. And that's generally that's kind of the 3rd Armoured thing, right? His units don't really die. If you know, obviously, if you're not looking, they die, right? But generally, it's a bit more forgiving. It obviously matters more if they die, because they cost so much, but... Like, not killing that, It's an Oso. I was going to say, why didn't that just die? It's got 2 there, so you'd expect, really, I mean, okay. I think it might have broke LOS there, but... Yeah, what could I say? No, it's a 3 vet. I mean, that's happened a lot of times, these things almost dying, and that is how it feels to play against 3rd Armoured, right? Like, that Eagle almost died. He doesn't have the Phantom, so if he loses the Eagles, it's kind of a big problem. That should have been in here. Still would have died in 1 hit, but it'd be less visible, so it probably could have got the shot off. Admittedly, he probably gave it the order to go there, and it was an attack order, so, you know, just stop there. What? It's interesting. I think it's because it routed. It just goes back to whatever the last order was, and the last order was probably to be there before, you know, before it all went down, so... So, that's red smoke coming out here. But yeah, the tanks, there's too many tanks now, and 39 wide doesn't actually get that many T8 BVs. I think he's bought them all. I think they're all dead. So he gets like 6, not including the command ones, and, you know, I'm pretty sure we've seen 6 T8 BVs die. Yeah, because look, he's just buying the command ones now, and he probably wouldn't feel compelled to do that unless he didn't have any others, because, like, you know, like this, the whole game, this could have been next to that Cub, for example. At some point, you obviously want to buy the Acacias as well, especially because, like, these are put in a lot of work. The Acacia is slightly worse than that. And you see, this can survive the Metis hit. So you do get something for the points you spend. It's just, the reason, you know, I'm not world #1 3rd Armoured player is because it's boring as fuck. It's just completely antithesis to how, the complete antithesis to how I like to play the game, which is run at people 40 minutes. Hopefully it ends in 20 or I lose. So that's, because, yeah, as you can see, these can put up with a lot of punishment. Admittedly, this should be here helping out. Got a Hull Breach crit there from a Grom. Oh, he's gonna miss. He just put it in the wrong place. It's reversing. You gotta, you know. It's a shame, really. He could have killed that. And, oh, wow. This gun comes in clutch again. He needs to move that, really. So he's either got 1 or 2 of these left, but I think Red's lost most of his bombers. He's still got the LGBT. Interestingly enough. But no, I'm loving the smoke from Red. I mean, obviously, if T-Man wanted to stop this, he would just blow these up, because it's not like they're moving. They move very occasionally, but they're towed mortars, so it's very hard to move them. So he could just blow these up and the smoke would stop, but... You know, he's not doing this, so... But yeah, it's just kind of a lack of tanks, and so he's forced to, like, okay, 10 million BMP-1s, each one deals 1 damage. Gonna be here a while. Even the tanks are dealing 1 damage. It's very cinematic. I mean, obviously there's been a severe dearth of sort of anything happening over here. I mean, Red did try and it just didn't really work. Okay, so I was wondering when we'd see this. So evac it. So he lost both his command tanks. This didn't die because, I don't know, he keeps putting these in the wrong places, basically. I'm surprised the LGBT didn't hit it, though. Not. Maybe he lost vision or something. Either way, there's another CV here, so it wouldn't have made too much of a difference. So, yeah, it looks like Red's going to lose a game. He's just got no units left. He's lost all... Oh, yeah, I mean... he's lost all his tanks. So here you go, you know, 4,786 games. This got reset, by the way, as well. It was a long time ago. It was when the game first went into 1.0. 77 games. Really? I'm really surprised actually. I thought he played very, very well for somebody with, because yeah, that's 77, isn't it? I thought he played really quite well for somebody with 77 games. Must watch hippie YouTube videos. Anyway, um, yeah, I mean, I suppose so. You know, he might be somebody who plays a lot of different strategy games because the ability to kind of, spend your points, go forwards and backwards, take trades, that all seemed fairly decent. It was just the things he didn't realize, like I need to cap all the zones at the start. This is how to deal with that division. That's the sort of thing that you kind of need practice. Or you could watch 10 million hippie YouTube videos, right? But you do eventually need to put that into practice. But no, I thought, I mean, obviously, congrats to T-Man, he won. But I thought this guy put up a really good fight with somebody with 77 games. Anyway, do let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. GG.